Good morning, gang. So happy Saturday morning. We got a weekend, and thought I'd give you just a little bit of follow-up as to what's going on. I'm assuming most of you saw Thursday night, maybe you saw it Friday morning, that President Trump has not conceded, but for all intents and purposes has. Okay, he basically made a speech, came out and said that he is going to make sure there's a orderly and peaceful transition to the Biden administration here in a couple of weeks. So, okay. So in that respect, our republic, if you will, whatever's left of it, still stands. Okay. This is what I want you to remember about what else is going on, because maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. Okay. There was all the talk about Pelosi and Schumer pushing Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment and get the cabinet on board to impeach Trump, or to basically throw him out under the 25th Amendment. And what they kind of wanted to do along with that was forbid him from ever running for office again. Okay? Now, remember, there was no crime committed. And as much as they want to say that Trump incited everything that happened Wednesday at Capitol Hill, no, he didn't, okay? And I'm sorry that you weren't smart enough to realize that this has been advertised for the better part of a month, saying there's going to be a march on Capitol Hill, okay? You know, hey, the chief of police, the Capitol Police, has resigned because of all the backlash he's getting for the incompetence that the Capitol Police had. So, you know, trying to push that on Trump is hysterical, okay? I mean, it just tells you how idiotic some of these people are. And of course, Pence came back and said, ain't gonna happen. So that was it. So in response to that, of course, what do you get? You get Congressman David Cicilline coming up and saying he's going to introduce articles of impeachment. Trump's going to be president for another 10 days. Okay, really? You know, and have, what, a third of it's a weekend time? You know, Congress doesn't work anyway, so, you know, like, they're going to impeach him. But the point of the articles of impeachment was to forbid him from ever running for office again. So what that tells you is that the Democrats truly fear him. Okay, it's basically admitting they cheated. Okay, simple as that. Because why would they bother? You know, if they think they can beat him, why do they? I mean, they should be happy that he's going to run again. You know, hey, if we beat him once, we'll beat him again. No big deal. Beat him the first time, he'll beat him the second time. So what? So that tells me that they truly fear the man. Okay, and they fear all of us. Okay, you know, General Mattis, who was praised for so long, you know, Mad Dog Mattis, you know, Marine Corps loved him or anything like that. I mean, the guy's a complete turncoat. When he comes out and publicly says that, you know, Trump should be made a man without a country. Okay, first off, that's against federal law, or I'm sorry, that's against international law. Okay, you can't do that to somebody. But to come out for a military officer that held the rank and the position that he did to say something like that, I have completely lost respect, 100% of respect for Mattis. May he burn in hell, because he no longer represents the military I served in, nor does he represent the country that I love, okay? You know, Mattis, I'm sorry, you are a piece of shit, in my opinion, at this point, okay? And you can quote me on that. How it affects all of us, okay? I want to give you a little history lesson here. And this one may go back a while, but you may not be probably are not aware of this one, okay? We're going to go back to ancient Persia, okay? And a gentleman by the name of Sisamnes, okay? Sisamnes was a judge under Cambyses II in Persia, okay? At one point, Sisamnes rendered a verdict that the king didn't like. And so the king's response, well, he had Sisamnes arrested and flayed alive, okay? His skin, Sesamny's skin, was then used to cover the chair in which Sesamny's son would sit in as the new judge, just to remind him every time he rendered a verdict who really had control and what the consequences could be if he did something against the king. Now, how does that portray us? Well, you can already see that the left wants Trump's head on a stake. They would love to skin him alive and cover the seat of any Republican, any conservative's chair with Trump's hide. Okay, to remind them, don't cross us. This will be this. What happened to Trump will be the same thing that happened to you. Okay. Now, if you honestly think that this is going to stop just with politicians, you're very, very wrong, okay? And I'll give you this. We all know AOC coming out and saying, we need re-education camps for all the people that voted for Trump, okay? Now, let's picture this. Oh, those re-education camps or whatever the far left lunatics want to do. Well, they want to skin me and say, upholster the kitchen chair of my daughter's kitchen table to remind her that don't do what your dad did because this is the fate that could become you. This is what they're doing, guys. You may not see it, but again, history repeats itself. Maybe a little different. But, when they're calling for Trump to be a man without a country, when they're calling for him to never be able to run again, they're trying to destroy the man, okay? And just like everything else, they'll start at the top and they'll work down. And if you cross them, well, let's see, we've now destroyed the president. Now we're going to go after senators, congressmen, governors, state representatives, state senators, mayors. We keep on eliminating all those. Okay, we've now brought it all the way down, so all we have is leftists everywhere. But there's still people in the little towns across America that want to, throw us out. So what are we going to do? We've got to destroy them. This is coming, guys. This is what I've been talking about the last couple of days with, the economic destruction, with the balkanization, if you will, of the country, breaking off into probably 3 different countries. If we don't, this is what's coming. You can bank on this one. It ain't going to happen tomorrow. And it might not happen next month or even next year, but it's coming soon enough. As soon as they get control. If Congress goes in and it says the Electoral College no longer matters, we're going by popular vote, forget it. The Democrats win every election. We don't even have to have elections. They're just going to appoint the next president because that's what it's going to be. Okay, we turn into the Soviet Union. We're just going to appoint the next premier. The people don't have any say in the matter. Well, welcome to the United States, the United Socialist States of America. That's what we're going to end up being. But I want you to remember the story of Sesamny's because it's very pertinent for exactly what's going to happen here. They're going to start, they're going to let the kids know, and it's going to go on down, and eventually it comes to you. Just thought I'd let you know that one this morning, guys. Have a great Saturday. Pinball out.